So once again, let me tell you, in case my voice didn't reach to you, once again, let me remind you what I had a discussion on. We had a discussion related to the chapters which we studied today. The chapter which we will be studying is alternating current. Before alternating current, we already had a discussion on chapter number 1, that is electric charges and field. Chapter number 2 was electric potential and capacitance. Chapter number 3, which we discussed, was current electricity. Chapter number 4 of your NCERT was magnetic effect of current. Chapter number 5, magnetism. Chapter number 6, electromagnetic induction, which we studied in the previous class. Now we will be moving forward with alternating current. That is your chapter number 7 of your NCERT. Let me give you a quick reminder that CBSE as well as other state boards already have decided that they will be equally dividing the board examination into two parts. First part will be containing the first half of the content of the board NCERT syllabus, CBSE syllabus, or you can say state board syllabus, as well as the second half will come in the second term. This is what the current status, what the Supreme Court has already guided to the boards. So this is chapter number 7 and will be the last chapter of the segment number 1. Segment number 1 means what? The term 1 which will be coming in the form, which will be there in the board examination if the same pandemic situation do be prevailing. In that context, this will be the last chapter which will be coming in your term 1, which may be there in November or December. So dear students, moving forward with the chapter, this chapter contains alternating EMF and current, average or the mean value of alternating EMF and current, root mean square value of alternating EMF and current, AC circuit with resistor, inductor, capacitor, and the major topic here is AC circuit with series LCR, Q factor and resonance, graphical relationship between the frequency versus XL, XC. Now what is XL is inductive reactance, XC is capacitive reactance, about which we will discuss when we will be reaching to the topic. The next thing which we will discuss will be the power in an LCR AC circuit. Next, wattless current. This will be a theoretical topic. LC oscillation. Previously, LC oscillation was removed from the syllabus, but it is once again added and is a theoretical topic. Transformer basically comes for the long answer type questions, as well as the AC generator too comes for the long answer type question. So while discussing the chapter, I'll let you know that what are the type of question may be asked into your examination. Now let us talk about this chapter. These slides are created by me. You know me. I'm Saurabh Rai, PGT Physics. Let us move to the definition of alternating EMF, dear students. The word alternating itself indicates whose value is continuously changing and the direction is reversing periodically. So this is the definition. Alternating EMF is that EMF which continuously changes in magnitude and periodically reverses in its direction. Alternating current is what? It is that current which continuously changes in magnitude and periodically reverses in direction. So there are two different definitions. First belongs to alternating EMF. Now what is EMF? You already know, that is electromotive force. And alternating current, you also know, it is what? It is a type of current whose magnitude changes continuously and direction reverses periodically. Let us move on to the next point. Let me show you how this thing takes place. So what I'm going to do is, let me show you with the number line. Let me show you with the axis system. Here we are moving from zero, and theta is what? Angular displacement. Angular displacement is equal to angular velocity into time. Angular velocity is given by omega and t is the time. Now these are the different angles which you will encounter, and this is a time period in which you will be reaching to the different angles. This is a reference for EMF E and current I. This is the way the EMF and the current flows. E naught here represents the peak value of EMF. So it will be given by E is equal to E naught sine omega t, which we have studied in electromagnetic induction chapter number 6. Further, this green line shows you the way the current is flowing in the circuit. The peak value of the current is given I naught, and its expression I is equal to I naught sine omega t. One more question may come in your mind if you are a mathematics student. Sir, if it is represented by sine, then can it also be represented by cos? So let me show you how it will be represented by the cos lines. Similarly, the same way as we have made for the sine, these are the different time scales and the angles I projected. This is a reference line along the y-axis. And this will be the case when you'll be taking the values along the cos line, cos ratio, cos graph. So you can write it like E is equal to E naught cos omega t and I is equal to I naught cos omega t. Furthermore, E and I are what instantaneous value of EMF and current. I hope you already know the meaning of instantaneous values. Instantaneous values means this value will be at a particular interval of time. For example, if any time is mentioned to you, then the value of E naught, the value of E and I at that instant of time is known as the instantaneous value at that time. E naught, I naught is what the peak value, maximum value, amplitude of EMF and current. Sometimes in the question they write amplitude of EMF is given. So do not forget that it is what amplitude of EMF is simply a peak value or the maximum value, and it is represented by E naught. Amplitude of current simply represents I naught. I naught is what the maximum value of the current. Omega is what angular frequency. T is instantaneous time and omega t is a phase. Dear students, very important symbol of AC source. It will be given by this symbolic representation. Average or mean value of an AC. Now, what is the meaning of average or mean value of an AC? Let's talk about it. The average or mean value of an alternating current over a half cycle is that steady current which will send the same amount of charge in the circuit in time of half cycle as it's sent by the given AC in the same circuit in the same time. So my dear students, what I'm going to do, what this explanation means, let me take you to the explanation again. Before going to the explanation, let me read it again so that it will be a little more clear to you. Average or the mean value of AC over half cycle is that steady current which will send the same amount of charge in the circuit in same time of half cycle as is sent by given AC in the same circuit in the same time. So dear students, what you will be doing, average or mean value of AC is that magnitude of charges which were sent to the circuit by the AC. So what you will be doing is you will be taking average value of AC and you will be taking the value of AC. It means you are taking two things. First thing you are taking is average or mean value of AC, and second thing you are taking the value of AC. So average or the mean represents what? They both are sending the charges and they are sending the same amount of charges. And when they are means what is the duration of the charge? Half the cycle. It means the complete cycle takes place in capital T will take time T by 2. So dear students, what you are doing, you are sending the charges by an AC and you are sending the charges by the mean value of an AC. In both the cases, the charges are going. In both the cases, charges are going and same magnitude of charges are going. And how much cycle you have taken? Half cycle. So charges which are going through the circuit in alternating EMF or alternating current, as well as in the case of mean or average value of an alternating EMF or alternating current. So what actually this definition defines you, that what you are doing is you are sending the charges and the magnitude of charges will remain same in both the cases, average or mean value of AC as well as in the case of the value of AC. Means ultimately you are selecting both the things, mean or average value of AC as well as alternating current, alternating EMF, right? Both will have the same magnitude of charges and the cycle you have selected is half. Do not forget, right? Now let me explain you already know I, current is equal to charges per unit time. So charges is equal to current into time, right? Because you already know I is equal to Q by T, so Q is equal to IT. Now because charges are changing, the quantity of charge is variable, and you already know, you studied several times that whenever there is a variability in the charges, you write it to be as dq. Now what does this dq represent? Charges are variable, so charges are variables with time. As the time is changing, charges, the magnitude of charge, number of charges will also be changing. So I am writing here dq is equal to I into dt. Dear students, you already know I is the instantaneous value of current and whose magnitude I is equal to I naught sine omega t into dt. Now, here they are talking about half the cycle. It means you are moving from 0 to t by 2, right? Because in the definition itself, they are writing here that the charges will be sent in half the cycle. So here I'm writing the time period is 0 to t by 2. Dear students, further, what you will be getting from here, if you'll be writing here, the integration of sine omega t will give you cos omega t upon omega, right? Cos omega t upon omega. So you already know the value of omega, that is what 2 pi by t, and time period is t by 2, and then you will write here sine 0, correct? And once when you will place all the value and complete the integration, you will get the value of charge q is equal to twice of I naught upon omega. Dear students, in the next line, you will place here the value of omega, and the value of omega is 2 pi by t. So in the denominator, it will be 2 pi, in the numerator, it goes t, and twice the I naught is same. Now you may cancel 2 in the numerator and denominator, you will get I naught t by pi. Dear students, the mean value of AC. Now let us talk about the mean value of AC. So the mean value of AC, which is given by Im or I average, is equal to Q upon T by 2. It means charges which are flowing in the half cycle. So let us place here the value. The value of Q is I naught T by pi. So I am placing here the value of Q, that is I naught T by pi, and T will be cancelled. So you'll be getting the value, right? I naught T by pi, you'll place here at the place of charge, and the time is T by 2. This 2 goes to the numerator. Value comes out as twice of I naught upon pi. When you will simplify this, you will get 0.637 I naught, or you can simply write 63.7% of I naught. What is I naught here? I naught is the peak value of current. So dear students, for your competitive examination, you need to remember the mean value or the average value of current is equal to 63.7% the peak value of the current. Now, average or mean value of alternating EMF, you can write here instead of IM, you write here EM. Instead of I average, you may write here E average. Instead of twice of I naught, you can write here twice of E naught upon pi. That will be also be equal to 63.7% of the peak value of EMF is equal to the mean value of an EMF. So this is one should always remember. It means if anyone may ask you which value is greater, the mean value or the peak value, so you'll have to remember that mean value will always be less than the peak value, right? So this is what it indicates. Let us talk about it. Note one very important thing: the average or the mean value of alternating current or EMF is 0 over cycle, as the positive and negative values get cancelled. You already have seen in the graphical representation, cycle firstly goes in the positive half side and then it goes in the negative half side. So what further will happen, this positive and negative value will cancel out each other, and if you take out the mean value for complete cycle, it will be equal to 0. So dear students, this we need to keep in mind, because that is why we always find out the value in the half cycle. Why? Is because if we take out it into the full cycle, so you already know that whatever the magnitude of the positive side we have, the same magnitude we have in the negative side. Once when you will add them together, positive and negative value will cancel out each other, and ultimately the answer come out is 0. So this is what you will have to remember. If the competitive question comes like, if the question comes like in your board examination too, what is the average value of AC over complete cycle, you need to remember it is 0. What is the average value of alternating EMF for complete cycle? This needs to be 0. And what is the average value of current? You can write here, it is 63.7% the peak value of current. So dear student, these are a few points which we need to be very sure of, right? If anyone may ask you, you'll have to give answer accordingly. Let us talk about the next thing. This is one of the major topic, root mean square or the virtual or the effective value of AC. Now what does it mean? Let's talk about it, right? In this case, we'll have to take into the consideration the heat, right? So what I'm doing is, let me explain you what is written over here first. RMS value of alternating current is that steady current which would produce the same heat in the given resistance in a given time as is produced by the alternating current in the same resistance in the same time. So now what you're doing, you are supplying the current through a resistor, and you'll be observing that how much heat is developing in the resistor. Correct, because when you know that whenever current flows across any wire, current flows across any resistor, that resistor will get heated up. So what is happening over here? When you'll be making alternating current to flow across the resistor, that resistor will be heated up, right? So you'll record the values, you'll take the values. Firstly, you'll make alternating current to flow across the resistor and you'll record the heat. And in the second case, you are taking RMS value of alternating current, making it get flow through the resistor and record the heat. And you'll find out that in both of the cases, the magnitude of heat is same. In both of the cases, the magnitude of heat is same. So my dear students, RMS value of alternating current is that value of alternating current which will produce same heat as produced by alternating current in the same time in the same circuit, right? So previously when we were talking about average value, we were talking about charges, and here we are talking about the heat. So do not get confused. When we talk about average value, we will have to keep in our mind the charges, but when we are talking about the RMS value, we'll have to keep in our mind the heat. Now you already know the expression for the heat, you studied already previously, that dH means heat or the energy or the work done is equal to I square RT. Because the heat is changing, so I'm writing here dH is equal to I square R into dt. Dear students, here I is the instantaneous value which can be written here I naught sine omega t, and its square, that is I naught square sine square omega t multiplied by R into dt. Now dear students, in order to remove the differential coefficient d, what you will be doing, you will be integrating both the sides. Integration of dH will give you h, and you'll be placing the integration symbol on the right hand side, I naught square R sine square omega t dt. After integration, after doing all the integration and placing the limit values, you will get the value of heat, that is I naught square RT divided by 2. Now after integration, omega is replaced by 2 pi by t. This is what you will have to keep in your mind, right? This is the mathematical representation. If you face any problem in such calculation, please do let me know. I'll send you the solution of it. Further, if IV is the virtual value of an AC, then if IV is the virtual value of an AC, then you already know the expression for the heat, that is I RT, I square RT. You'll place here the value, instead of writing I, you are writing here IV. Now what is IV? That is the virtual value of AC. So you will get IV square RT. And by the definition, these two values, one which is produced by the RMS value and one which is produced by the alternating current, needs to be same. So you'll place them together, right? And RT will be cancelled in both the cases. So IV is equal to I naught upon under root 2. This is very much visible. I hope is already understood. When you will be doing its calculation, it comes out as 0.707 of I naught. It means IV or IRMS or the effective value is equal to 70.7% of I naught. So dear students, now you will be having two values to remember. Mean value is equal to 63.7% the peak value of current, and RMS value is equal to 70.7% the peak value of current. So these are the two things which you'll have to keep in your mind. So let's talk about the next thing. For EMF, you, instead of writing IV, you will write here EV. IRMS, you will be replacing it with ERMS. I effective can be replaced with E effective, I naught with E naught, and so on. So dear students, these are the values one should always remember. Noteworthy point, root mean square value of alternating current or EMF can be calculated over any period of cycle, since it is based on the heat energy produced. Do not use the above formula if the time interval under the consideration is less than 1 period. So these are the point we need to remember, right? But if you remember, when we were talking about the mean value or the average value, we were taking it for half the cycle T by 2. So this particular thing can be taken for any cycle, whereas for mean value or average value, we need to take it to be as T by 2, right? So these are a few points which you'll have to keep in your mind. Relative value, peak, relative values, peak, virtual and mean values of alternating EMF. Let's talk about it. This is a general graph we already have a discussion on. This is E naught. This is EV, that is a virtual value. This is EM, that is a mean value. So dear students, these are a few points. If in your competitive examination, if you would have gone through with 2016 G mains paper, the arrangement was asked that which value will be more, which value maybe means you'll have to write down them into the arrangements. So what we need to do is we need to keep in mind that the peak value will always be greatest. Second lies is EV, that is a virtual value, and third one is a mean value, right? So here we are having such values. For a recap, I just have made it available to you. Now tips, some important tips which you'll have to obey, which you'll have to follow. The given value of alternating EMF and current are virtual values unless otherwise specified. Now this is for your numerical purpose. The given value of alternating EMF and alternating current, it means the given value of AC are virtual values unless it is specified. It means unless it is given peak value or the mean value, till that time they will be always the virtual values. Now here it is written that is 230 volt AC means. Now do understand what actually means. In our household supply we get 230, 240 or 220 volt of supply. Basically when you take out the average, it comes out as 230 volt AC means EV or ERMS or E effective is equal to 230. So in the case if in the question this value is not mentioned, right, this 230 is not mentioned, then what you will have to do, they simply may write here that ERMS or EV. Then at that time you'll have to remember that if it is not given in the question, you'll have to take it to be as 230, right? And if in the case question is mentioned 230 is given to you, then you'll have to understand that this value is EV or ERMS, right? Let's further move to the next point. AC ammeter and AC voltmeter read the RMS value of alternating current, right? AC ammeter and AC voltmeter reads what? RMS value. They read what? RMS value. They are called as hot wire meters, right? AC ammeter and AC voltmeter read RMS value of alternating current and voltage respectively. They are called hot wire meters. Always remember, RMS value will be calculated by hot wire ammeter or hot wire voltmeter, right? This is not the common ammeter which we use. Which type of ammeter you need to have? Hot wire. If I may ask you, by which device you can measure RMS value of AC, RMS value of alternating current? You simply give me an answer, hot wire ammeter. If I'll ask you by which device you can measure the RMS value of EMF or voltage, then you give me that is hot wire voltmeter. So hot wire voltmeter, hot wire ammeter are the devices which are used to find out the RMS value of an AC, right? Normal ammeter and normal voltmeter only record the direct current values or direct supplied potential. So always need to remember, when it comes to alternating current, alternating EMF, then that time which device you need to have, that is a hot wire ammeter or hot wire voltmeter. Do not get confused. DC can be measured with a normal ammeter, right? EMF of direct current, EMF for the supplied direct current can be measured with the normal voltmeter. But in order to find out the AC, you need to have hot wire ammeter. You need to find, in order to find out alternating EMF, you need to have hot wire voltmeter. So do not get confused that what are the two different devices. Furthermore, the scale of DC meter is linearly graduated, whereas the scale of AC meter is not evenly graduated because H is directly proportional to I square. My dear students, in case some practical based question may come in your competitive examination, then at that time you'll have to be very much clear that DC meters are linearly graduated, right? There is a demarcation linearly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But in general cases, when we talk about the meters of alternating current, what type of marking will be there? 1, then for example 2, then 4, then 16, right, and so on. It means it goes on like square values. So this is what you'll have to keep in your mind. Linear demarcation will always be there in the meters which are reading the direct current. But when it comes to the alternating current, linear graduation is not there, right? Let's talk about the next point. AC circuit with pure resistor. So here what is happening? This is the supplied value of AC. E is equal to E naught sin omega t. What is E? Instantaneous value of EMF. E naught is the peak value of EMF, right? When it flows across this, E is equal to E naught sine omega t. You already know I is equal to E upon R. When you place here the value, that is E is equal to E naught, that is what E, the value of E is E naught sine omega t divided by R. You already know the value of E naught upon R will give you I naught. So you will replace E naught upon R by I naught in this expression. So I is equal to I naught sine omega t. Dear students, EMF and current are in same phase. If you see the first expression, here and the current expression here, both of them are having the phase omega t, right? So one thing is very clear, that EMF and current are in the same phase in this case. Let us talk about its graphical representation. These are the different scales we are selecting. These are the different time periods for the different angles. This is the axis about the y-axis, and this is the representation of EMF and I, EMF and current, right? So if you see, both starts with zeros simultaneously and reaching to the next zero also simultaneously, reaching to the maximum value simultaneously. What does it indicate? It simply indicates that both of them are in the same phase. Dear students, this is E naught and the lower one is I naught. So E is given by E naught sine omega t, I is given by I naught sine omega t. Let us talk about the phasor, right? This is the previous diagram is a phasor diagram. This is a graphical representation. Here it represents E naught and I naught along the same line, and the angle of it, both of them, is omega t, as already mentioned. Now, AC circuit with a pure inductor. Now, what you will be doing is you will be supplying the alternating EMF through an inductor. The instantaneous value of EMF is E naught sine omega t. Now, you already know induced EMF in the inductor is minus L di by dt. I hope you already studied this in the electromagnetic induction chapter in the previous classes. Now, in order to maintain the flow of current, the applied EMF must be equal and opposite to the induced EMF. That is, E is equal to L di by dt. It means you already know induced EMF E is equal to minus L di by dt. In order to maintain the EMF, you'll have to supply. Induced is minus L di by dt. Now you'll have to give away the same value in order to maintain it. So what you will give? You will give E is equal to L di by dt. Furthermore, E, that is EMF, induced value, the instantaneous value of EMF, that is what E naught sine omega t. Now you'll cross multiply L on the other side, so it will be E naught by L. You'll cross multiply dt on the left hand side, that will give you what? E naught L sine omega t dt. Now you'll have to overcome with a differential symbol. What you will do? You'll write here integration both the sides. Integration of di gives you I. E naught by L are constant term. Integration of sine omega t will give you cos omega t upon omega, right? This is what we will be getting. And integration of sine omega t is minus cos omega t upon omega. So what you will get? You will write here E naught upon omega L as I naught. Sine minus cos omega t can be written as sine omega t minus pi by 2, so that this minus sign can be eliminated. Now, what I have done, I have written here E naught upon omega L is equal to I naught. Further, XL is equal to omega L. This can also be remembered. So what I am doing is I am writing here XL, that is equal to omega L. So what is this XL here? Let us talk about it. XL is inductive reactance, and inductive reactance is what? It is the opposition offered by an inductor. So dear students, before moving forward, let me tell you three parameters. There are three basic parameters of the electricals. As well as you can talk about electronics also, these parameters can be found. But in electricals, these three parameters are taken a good consideration on. First one is resistor. That is the opposition to the flow of current, right? The basic resistor, the word resistance indicates that it is the opposition to the flow of current through the conductor. Now, what is inductive reactance? This is the opposition offered by inductor to the flow of current. What is capacitive reactance? See, there are three parameters: resistance, the basic resistance, right? The second one is inductive reactance, and third one is capacitive reactance. Now, what is reactance? Reactance is simply the opposition. When you are having resistor and opposition is given by the resistor, you call it to be as resistance. When you are having an inductor and opposition is offered by an inductor, then the opposition offered by inductor is called inductive reactance. Let us talk about the third one. The opposition offered by the capacitor is called capacitive reactance. So what is the reactance actually? Reactance is the opposition to the flow. Opposition to the flow of current. Let us talk about the next thing. Achha, since because they are opposition, that is why their unit will be ohm. So always we need to keep in mind that all the reactances are having the unit to be ohm. Now here if you see in the two expressions, this one E is equal to E naught sine omega t, and here I is equal to I naught sine omega t minus pi by 2. If you see the two expression, in the first expression the angle was omega t, in the second expression it is omega t minus pi by 2. It clearly indicates that the current is lagging behind by an EMF by the phase of pi by 2. So if you simply see, in the first case EMF is E naught sine omega t, and in the second case I is equal to I naught sine omega t minus pi by 2. So in the second case omega t is decreased by pi by 2. It means current is lagging behind. Current is having the value decreased, and that is decreased by the phase angle of pi by 2, which you can understand from this as well as this expression. Right? By the two counter expression, you get to know current lag behind the EMF by the phase angle of pi by 2. Now let's make the phasor of it. Now what is a phasor? If anyone may ask you, sir, please explain what is a phasor. Phasor is what? It is the graphical representation of the rotating vectors. It means, see, graph is what? It is a fixed vector which can be represented by the graph, and sometimes it may not be the vector also, right? It is not every time that we'll design the vector on the graphs. Sometimes the scalar quantities can also be designed on the graph. But what are phasor? Phasor actually represent the rotating vectors. Rotating vectors, it means which are having rotation, just like alternating EMF and alternating current. They'll be having rotation. They'll be having continuous change in the magnitude, and direction is getting reversed. So phasor is what? Phasor is the graphical representation which represent the rotating vectors, right? Let us talk about it. The time periods are different. Furthermore, this is the y-axis. Now this you encounters, right? Previously, if you see, EMF is starting with 0, but at the same time, at 0 degree, you will be starting with EMF. But if you see at pi by 2, at pi, just focus to pi by 2 here, right? What is happening? Current is 0, but EMF is maximum. It means EMF is leading. EMF is leading, and who's lagging? Current. Current is 0, and EMF is maximum. If you see, EMF is maximum over here, and current is maximum on the other point, right? This is this point. So when the current is maximum after pi by 2. It means at pi by 2, EMF is maximum. Now it will travel one more pi by 2 to make the current maximum. It means current is lagging behind. At this particular point, you can easily understand when the current is 0, EMF is maximum. So it simply indicates that current is lagging behind the EMF by the phase angle of pi by 2. That is why it is said. When the AC circuit is having a pure inductor connected to it, at that point current will be lagging behind the EMF by the phase angle of pi by 2. Further, dear students, if you see by the two expressions, one from here and one from here, you will get to know that E is equal to E naught sine omega t. At that instant, I is equal to I naught sine omega t minus pi by 2. Need to be very clear that current is lagging behind by the phase angle of pi by 2. Dear students, let us move further. This is a graphical representation, and in the graphical representation, if this is EMF, the peak value of EMF E naught, then this will be the peak value of current I naught. If you see the angle between them, initial angle in both of them is omega t, but if you see the change in the angle, the lagging condition is pi by 2. It means initial angles are omega t, but from omega t, the values are decreased by the phase angle of pi by 2 in case of current, and leading in the case of EMF. So this is we need to keep in mind. Dear students, after this, let us talk about capacitor. This is a pure capacitor. Supplied AC is E naught sine omega t. Now instantaneous value you already know is equal to E naught sine omega t. Now you already know, studied in chapter number 2, Q is equal to C, or Q is equal to CV, right? C is equal to Q by V, so Q is equal to CV. So instead of writing V potential, I'm writing here EMF E. So I'm writing here C. The value of E is E naught sine omega t. Dear students, you already know current I is equal to dq by dt. See, you already know that V always makes we always makes the relation between EMF and the current. So EMF is always remaining the fixed, that is E naught sine omega t. The value will change only for the current while doing the solutions. So I is equal to dq by dt. So dear students, I'm writing a d upon dt multiplied by the value of q, and the value of q is C E naught sine omega t. You already know C E naught are constant terms, and differentiation of sine omega t is cos omega t multiplied by omega. So this is what we will be getting. Now if you see, omega into C was in the numerator. In this expression, I have written this numerator value as the value in denominator's denominator, because you already know denominator's denominator is a numerator. So omega C, which needs to be in the numerator, I have sent it into the denominator's denominator. Now why I have done this? I have to replace the value E naught upon divided by 1 upon omega C by I naught. Right. Now how can I change the value of cos omega t in form of sine? How can we convert the value of cos omega t in the form of sine? So it can be done by writing sine omega t plus pi by 2, because you already know sine 90 plus theta is equal to cos theta. So cos theta can be written as sine 90 plus theta. Further, here what I have done, if you see, here I have written I naught, that is equal to E naught divided by 1 divided by omega c. Right. Now 1 upon omega c is equal to XC. Now what is XC? That is a capacitive reactance. What is capacitive reactance? This is the opposition offered by capacitor. You already studied previously that the opposition offered by an inductor is called inductive reactance. So the opposition offered by capacitor is called the capacitive reactance. My dear students, because we are talking about the resistance, because we are talking about the oppositions, thus the inductive reactance as well as the capacitive reactance have the same value of the resistance, that is ohm. So dear students, whether it is XC, whether it is XL. Now what is XL? That is inductive reactance. You studied previously. You studied XC here, that is capacitive reactance. Now reactance means opposition, opposition means resistance, and the unit of resistance is ohm. So these are a few facts which you'll have to keep in mind. No doubt I'm gonna explain the concept again, but in case if you'll be able to follow it out, it will be far better for you, so that we can make the revision later on. Dear students, if you see from here in the expression number 1, this is E is equal to E naught sine omega t, and I is equal to I naught sine omega t plus pi by 2. If you see from here, in I, the current is leading by the phase angle of pi by 2, that is omega t plus pi by 2. So it simply represents that the current is leading here. The current leads the EMF by the phase angle of pi by 2. Let us talk about the next thing. Let me draw it with a graphical representation. One thing is very clear. These are the baselines. So if you see, when the EMF was zero, here, current already has reached its maximum value. So current reached its maximum value pi by 2 radian before, pi by 2 radian before. See, if you talk about here the value is 0, here the value is maximum. So dear students, what actually we are encountering here? We are encountering here two things. When the current was maximum, EMF was 0, right? And after how much radians EMF becomes maximum? It becomes maximum after traveling, see, just after traveling pi by 2 distance, right? Pi by 2 distance. So this is why it is said by the expression, it is very clear that current is actually leading the EMF by the phase angle of pi by 2. Let's talk about it. E is equal to E naught sine omega t, and I is equal to I naught sine omega t plus omega t plus pi by 2. It simply represents that EMF is lagging and current is leading. Let us make the graph so that the things will be more clear. Dear students, this is a graph, right? And here, if this is the value of E naught, that is the peak value of EMF, then this will be the value of I naught. Now, the base angle is omega t, and I naught is leading by the phase angle of pi by 2. So these are the things which we will have to keep in our mind. Now let us talk about the next thing, that the variation of XL with frequency. Now you already know I naught is equal to E naught upon omega L, where omega L is equal to XL. Dear students, XL is inductive reactance and omega is 2 pi f. You already know it is angular frequency, and angular frequency omega is equal to 2 pi times the linear frequencies. So 2 pi f. So here you will get, if you will be replacing the value of omega by 2 pi f, you will get XL is equal to 2 pi fl. That simply represents XL is directly proportional to f. It means if you are having frequency on one axis, inductive reactance on the other axis, then they will be having the linear graph. Let us talk about the next thing. Variation of XC with frequency means capacitive reactance with a frequency. You already know I naught is equal to E naught divided by 1 upon omega C, 1 upon omega C, right? And you already know 1 upon omega C is XC. XC is what? Inductive reactance, and omega is 2 pi F. If you place here the value 1 upon 2 pi FC, why I am writing 2 pi FC is because I am replacing the value of this omega. So the value of omega is already known to you. I hope is understood. I am replacing the value of omega by 2 pi F. So what you will get, XC is inversely proportional to frequency. So this is frequency, this one is capacitive reactance, and this is the graph. So you always need to remember, if any question may come for the graphical representation, these are the key points which we will have to keep in mind. Dear students, let us move on for the further tips. Inductance L cannot decrease direct current. It can only decrease alternating current. So if anyone may ask you, inductor decreases what? You can simply say inductor always decreases AC but do not decrease DC. Further, capacitance allow AC to flow through it but blocks DC. So if anyone may ask you which electrical parameter blocks DC, then you'll have to remember that capacitance is the parameter which blocks DC. So one thing we need to keep in our mind, AC is blocked by, AC is stopped by or decreased by, pay attention again, AC alternating current is decreased by inductor, whereas DC is blocked by capacitor. DC is blocked by capacitor and AC is decreased by inductor. So these are key points which we will have to keep in mind. Let us move further. AC through or AC circuit with LCR series combination. So here we are having inductor, capacitor and resistor. Supplied value of EMF in instantaneous value, that is E is equal to E naught sine omega t. Potential which is flowing across inductor is VL, that across capacitor is VC, and that across resistor is VR. The applied EMF appears as voltage drops. The potential which is dropped across inductor is VL, that across resistor is VR, and that across capacitor is VC. Across RL and C, these are the potential drops. In R, current and voltage are in same phase. Current and voltage are in same phase. In inductor, current lags behind the voltage. In inductor, current lag behind the voltage by pi by 2. In capacitor, current leads the voltage. So these are the three key points. I hope is understood. I feel. Let me explain you the concept again. What I'm doing is, in inductor, voltage and current remain in the same phase. So this is current, this is voltage. Inductor, in an inductor, who is leading? Voltage is leading by the current by the phase angle of pi by 2. So I hope is understood. It is shown here. In capacitor, current is leading by pi by 2. So voltage is lagging. So voltage is just below by the phase angle of pi by 2. So dear students, these are the concept cases which we are getting here. So this is the diagrammatical representation. Now let me explain you again. Now this VC, which is in the downward direction, this VC is decreasing the value of VL. So what you will be doing is you'll be substituting. You will be writing a VL minus VC. So this is VL minus VC. The magnitude of VC will remain same, but in opposite direction. So I'm writing a minus VC. You can draw it like VL minus VC and I, right? And you already know these are let us follow here the Pythagoras theorem. Let us make a diagonal over here. So VL minus VC, this is the graph between VL minus VC. So you will be drawing the parallel lines, and the diagonal here represents EMF given by E. So if you simply see by E, that is H square is equal to P square plus B square. So H is equal to under root P square plus B square. Here P is what? Perpendicular is what? VL minus VC square. And what is base? That is VR. So VR square. So you already know Pythagoras theorem. You apply Pythagoras theorem here. So you'll get E is equal to under root VR square plus VL minus VC square. Furthermore, my dear student, this is the value of the resultant value of EMF you will get for the series LCR combination. Dear students, one more thing. You already know I is equal to, you already know by Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So I is equal to V upon R. So instead of potential, we are having EMF E. So E upon the resistances. Resistance means opposition. So resistance offered by resistor is R. Resistance offered by VL, that is inductor, is XL. Opposition offered by capacitor is XC. So this is what the value you will get. Now this denominator means the combination of oppositions. This combination of oppositions, that is the denominator, is what? It is the combination of more than one opposition. One opposition means if you are having single opposition. For example, opposition offered by resistor is called resistance. Opposition offered by inductor is called inductive reactance. Opposition offered by capacitor is called capacitive reactance. But if you are having combination, for example, if you are having resistors resistance and inductive reactance, if you are having the combination, then it is called impedance, which is represented by Z. So what is Z? It is a oppositions. It is a combination of oppositions. So furthermore, you can place here the value of XL, that is omega L, and the value of XC, that is omega C. Now, if you see from this particular graph, you can find out the value of tan phi. Tan phi is equal to perpendicular upon base. What is perpendicular? VL minus VC. VL minus VC upon base, that is VR. Right? The value of VL is I into XL. The value of VC is I into XC divided by VR. VR is equal to I into R. So I and I will cancel here, and you will get tan phi is equal to XL minus XC upon R. Furthermore, my dear students, it can be written tan phi is equal to the value of XL, that is equal to omega L. The value of XC is equal to 1 upon omega C, and R as it is. This is what you can do. So tan phi is equal to XL minus XC upon R, or tan phi is equal to omega L minus 1 upon omega C upon R. Special cases. When XL is greater than XC, if inductive reactance is greater than capacitive reactance, in that case, omega L is greater than 1 upon omega C. In that case, tan phi, for just you can simply see here, if this XL is greater and XC is less, then what you will get? You will get the positive value of 10. Then you will be getting positive value of 10, right? But let's talk about it. The current, in this case, current lag behind the EMF by the phase angle of phi, and LCR circuit is inductance dominated circuit. Why it is inductance dominated circuit is because current lead in the case of the inductor, right? Current means if I talk about the inductor, in that case, I just take you back. If you see from here it is inductor. The potential is leading in the case of inductor, and current is lagging behind in the case of inductor. So once when you will be having VL, means potential drop across inductor. Potential drop across inductor. I'm sorry. Let me clear you. Previously, I think I thought I said by mistake that potential current is leading in the case of inductor. No, it is voltage, EMF is leading in the case of an inductor. So this is what they want to write here. If XL is greater than XC, if XL is greater than XC, then it simply means that XL is more, means inductive component is more, then it simply can be represented to be as inductance dominated circuit. But if inductance is less, the value here will be negative. For sure, it means XL minus XC. If XL is less, then the value will be negative. So then it is called to be a capacitance dominated circuit. So you always need to remember this. If XL is less than XC, it is called to be as capacitance dominated. For example, if XL is equal to X value will be 0, right? Then tan phi is also equal to 0, and phi will be equal to 0 degree. And in this case, XL is equal to XC. That means omega L is equal to 1 upon omega C. So dear students, in this case, current and the EMF are in same phase. Current and EMF are in the same phase. Furthermore, resonance in an AC circuit with LCR circuit, one of the major question of your CBSE. XL is equal to XC is equal to omega L, that is equal to 1 upon omega C. It means what? I have simply placed here the value of XL and XC. So omega L is equal to 1 upon omega C. This will only be possible when tan phi is equal to 0 or phi is equal to 0 degree. In this case, my dear students, what is happening? This is impedance. This is Z is equal to impedance, and omega L is actually equal to 1 upon omega C. So this entire term will be 0. This entire term will be 0. It means Z is equal to under root R square. So that means Z will become minimum. That will be equal to minimum, and that will be equal to R, right? That will be equal to R. So what you will get? That is, the impedance offered by the circuit is minimum and the current is maximum. It means, see, impedance is what? It is a combination of oppositions. If oppositions are less, if the opposition to the flow of current, opposition means the thing which is not allowing you to flow. If something is not allowing current to flow, it is less. It means opposition is less. Then what will happen? Current will be maximum, because no opposition is available. If there is no opposition available, what will happen? The current will be maximum, and this condition is called the resonant condition of LCR circuit, and the frequency is called the resonant frequency. Dear students, let us be very clear. What we need to be very clear with? We need to be very clear that resonance is a condition where XL is equal to XC. That means inductive reactance is equal to capacitive reactance. In this case, omega L is equal to 1 upon omega C. Tan phi is equal to 0 and phi is equal to 0 degree. All these represent the resonance condition. Under this condition, current will be maximum. If anyone may ask you what is the condition of current in the resonance, then you can say current will be maximum and opposition will be minimum. And this condition is called the resonant condition of LCR circuit. Dear students, under this case, I am writing here omega L is written to be as omega RL, which is equal to 1 upon omega RC. Now here R represents the resonance condition. If you'll be cross multiplying this R from the right hand side to the left hand side, then it will be omega R square is equal to 1 upon LC. So once when you'll be removing this square symbol, what you'll be writing here, omega R is equal to 1 upon under root LC. Dear students, omega is equal to 2 pi F. Omega is equal to 2 pi F. If you see from here, omega R, that I'm writing at 2 pi F, and I'm sending this 2 pi on the right hand side by cross multiplication at FR as it is. So my dear students, this frequency is called the resonant frequency. Resonant curve and Q factor, let's talk about it. Resonant curve and Q factor. This is peak value of current. This is what we will be getting. So this is R1, R2 and R3, different resistances. Here R1 is maximum, R2 is sorry, here R1 is minimum, R2 is more than R1, R3 is more than R2. It means R1 is least, R3 is maximum. So I'm writing here R1 is less than, R2 is less than R3. So this is a graph we will be getting. This is the maximum current. This is the resonant frequency. So one thing needs to be clear. At resonant frequency, current will be maximum in LCR circuit. Furthermore, my dear students, and what is its value coming out? Its value will be maximum, means if you take the two values, it means omega R minus delta omega and omega R plus delta omega. If you take the two-sided frequencies in these two-sided in the two sides, you will get the current to be I naught max divided by under root 2. So under this resonant conditions, now what is bandwidth over here? If you see here, it is delta omega, here it is also delta omega. So total bandwidth will be equal to 2 delta omega. This is what they are writing here. Furthermore, quality factor, we are discussing here about the quality factor. Now what is a quality factor? So quality factor is a ratio of resonant frequency divided by the bandwidth. Furthermore, it can also be defined as a ratio of the potential drop across either the inductance or the capacitance to the potential drop across the resistance. So dear students, let's talk about the next thing. Q, that is equal to VL upon VR. Now, what is quality factor? Quality factor is a ratio of potential drop across inductor to the potential drop across resistor. Furthermore, Q can also be written as VC upon VR, or you can write Q is equal to omega R L upon R, or you can write Q is equal to 1 upon omega R CR. And the most important expression, that is, it is not mentioned here, I tell you, that is what? Q is equal to 1 upon R under root L by C, which I'll surely be giving you in the upcoming next slides. So dear students, power in an AC circuit, this is previously out of the syllabus, but for your competitive syllabus, it has to be studied. E is equal to E naught sin omega t. and I is equal to I naught sine omega t plus phi. It means phi will be plus pi by 2 and it can be minus pi by 2 and can be 0. It will be 0 in case of resistance. It will be plus pi by 2 in the case of capacitance. And in the case of inductance, it will be minus pi. So depending upon the two, you already know power is equal to VI or EI. So I'm placing here the value of both of them. That is E naught sine omega t and I naught sine omega t plus pi by 2. Sorry, E naught sine omega t multiplied by I naught sine omega t plus phi. Now by simplifying this trigonometrically, by making it into an identity, sine omega t as it is, sine omega t plus phi, that is sine A plus B's formula you can write here, sine A cos B plus cos A sine B, and you will be getting this expression as the final expression. Furthermore, if you simply see the work done over the complete cycle is, if you'll be removing this differential coefficient, you'll have to integrate it on both the sides. So integration dw will give you w, E naught I naught as it is. For entire cycle, I'm talking about for the complete cycle, E naught I naught will be taken out, sine square omega t cos phi plus sine omega t cos phi. Further, while integrating it completely, when you'll be integrating it completely, this is the expression of the work done coming out, E naught I naught constant cos phi multiplied by t by 2. Average power over a cycle, that is P average, is equal to work done per unit time. This time will be cancelled, this t and this t will be cancel out each other, so you will get E naught I naught by 2 cos phi, which you can write 2 can be written as what, under root 2 into under root 2. So this is why I'm writing under root 2 and under root 2 both the times. So E naught by under root 2, E naught by under root 2, I naught by under root 2 cos phi. Here cos phi is equal to what, r by z. Cos phi is equal to r by z. What actually the cos phi is, it is called the power factor. So always remember, cos phi is called the power factor. So you can write here the value E naught upon under root 2 can be written as E RMS. I naught upon under root 2 can be written to be as I RMS, or you can write here EV IV multiplied by cos phi, and cos phi is called the power factor. Next thing, dear students, P average is equal to EV IV cos phi. Power in an AC circuit with R resistance. In the case when it is resistance, in the case of resistance, if you simply see in the case of resistance, current and EMF are in the same phase. You can write here cos phi, cos 0, and for cos 0, the value of cos 0 is equal to 1, so you will get EV IV. Further, power in an AC circuit with inductor, what you will get, phi is equal to minus pi by 2, so you'll place here the value cos minus pi by 2, and at pi minus pi by 2, for cos pi by 2 the value is 0. So average power in an inductive circuit is 0, and in the case of capacitive circuit it is also 0. So average power in an inductive and the capacitive circuits are 0, and it will be maximum when we will be talking about the resistive circuit. So you always need to remember, what you need to remember, that average power in an AC circuit with inductor and the average power or the power in an AC circuit with capacitor will always be 0. So where you will get the maximum power, you will only be getting the maximum power when you are talking about the resistive circuit, and that will be equal to EV IV. Let's talk about it. Wattless current or idle current. So dear students, one thing is clear, that here you are having no power, here you are having no power, right? In the inductive and the capacitive circuit we are having no power. Power will only be there in the resistive circuit. So the topic here is wattless current, right? EV, IV, this is phi. Now if you represent this IV, if you will be making the component of IV right here, then it will be IV cos phi, and at perpendicular you will be getting IV sin phi. Dear students, the component IV cos phi generate power with EV, right? IV cos phi generate the power with EV, whereas IV sin phi does not contribute to the power along EV, and hence power generated is 0. So pay attention, IV cos phi generates power with EV, but IV sin phi do not generate any power with EV. That is why in this way, this particular component generates 0 power. IV sin phi generates 0 power. This component of the current is called wattless or idle current. So dear student, this component this IV sin phi is called the wattless current or idle current. And which component makes the power with EV? That is IV cos phi. So if anyone may ask you, which component of the current is wattless current, so you can simply write an answer that the component IV sin phi do not contribute to any power with EV. That is why IV sin phi component gives you the zero power. Furthermore, my dear students, B, that is equal to EV IV sin phi and into cos phi, and cos is here, it is 90 degree, and once it is 90 degree it will give you zero power. So that is why IV sin phi gives you zero power. That is why it is called the wattless current. Note important point: power or energy is not dissipated in capacitor and inductor, and hence they find a lot of practical application in the devices using alternating current. So dear students, what is happening here? Power or energy is not dissipating. If you see, power and energy is not dissipating in inductor and capacitor circuit. It means there is no dissipation, there is no loss in inductor and the capacitor circuit. That is why it is always useful to have inductor circuit and capacitor circuit when you are using alternating current. So one thing needs to be clear: which type of circuit we should not use with AC? Resistive circuit. Which type of circuit we should use with AC? Inductive and capacitive circuit. So this is why in most of the appliances which we are using in our homely purpose, we find inductive and capacitive circuits. So need to be very clear which will be beneficial when you are using AC, inductive and capacitive. Which is not beneficial when you are using AC, that is resistive circuit. Furthermore, LC oscillation, dear students,